unfortunate and it is sad that we came out this morning to protest and demand for a return to democracy, as well as demand that the cybercrime bill should be abandoned. And the police came out, people who were peaceful, processing on the streets. The police came out, shot guns at us, shot tear gas at us to dispel us. Even when we had spoken to them, let it be on record that we had written to the police, sought permission from them, and also gotten their permission. But the police decided to come out at this point to shoot at us, injured a few of us, and even arrested the channel's reporter, who is currently in their custody. I don't know why some people will feel that they own this nation. We should realize that we are all Nigerians, and anybody who is whatever he is just be privileged to be whatever he is, and that we cannot all be intimidated. They can intimidate a few, but they cannot intimidate all of us. They can never intimidate all of us, and they know that. So we are not scared of them. We are going to still resist them and stand against them. This dictatorship led by Bola Ahmed Tinubu will have to stop.
The most difficult jobs in Nigeria or in the world today is speaking for or trying to defend the APC federal government. It is a very, very difficult thing to do because you know why? There is nothing there to defend. So you remember that the APC campaigned for 16 years of PDP misrule. In fact, this president was part of a protest called Occupy Nigeria when the then President Jonathan was trying to remove fuel subsidy, which he eventually have removed today, and yet the devil is in the detail in terms of implementation of sanitizing the oil sector and NNPC. So, and then by 2027, President Tinubu's administration will be 12 years, or APC will be 12 years put together. Imagine living in a government of renewed hope and experiencing the kind of unfortunate hopelessness that Nigeria is experiencing. So it is difficult for you to explain what the federal government, the APC-led government is doing, but I can give you some. A government that knows that more than 100 million persons were living in multi-dimensional poverty by the end of Buhari's administration came into power, and the first priorities were deciding to renovate a vice presidential home for 20-something billion, purchase of new private presidential jets, a presidential yacht, renovating the villa, money for purchase of SUVs for the office of the First Lady, which is not even a legally recognized, constitutionally recognized office. So when you see the frivolities and wastages in government, and then that same government in turn begins to ask the people to make sacrifices. So it is we who will think of what to do for our country, while the leaders continue to live in luxury and affluence using taxpayer money. Look at the National Assembly. Immediately they came, they shared monies for themselves and purchased bulletproof SUVs, one for more than 160 million. Yet the minimum wage of that country is 70,000 naira. And that is a country where leaders are still demanding sacrifice from the people. So at what point does this sacrifice end? At what point does President Tinubu, his cabinet, the senators and his government begin to make sacrifices? The president is a former governor. He's on life pension from Lagos State. The vice president is a former governor. The senate president is a former governor. So with all the resources that are shared, 60% of Nigeria's corruption is administrative. Inflation of government contracts, budget padding. Who is sanitizing and fighting that corruption? But you cannot say anything because the government does not even feel beholden to the people. And that is why no matter how much Nigerians continue to cry, it falls on deaf ear. Why? Because they know that the electoral system can still be manipulated to rig people back into power, using also the Nigerian judiciary. So if I have the ears of any Nigerian politician right now, I will want them to know that power is transient. You cannot be in power forever. If you don't leave power, power will leave you. Nigerians are not demanding for too much. We only need a country to live. As a Nigerian youth, demanding for a better country, I'm not a criminal. There are known criminals that are not being attended to. But once you voice out against the government, they come after you. So Nigerians must decide whether we want to live as slaves in this country or we want to live as freeborns. And that is why I'm telling you that this 30-day challenge must not end with just the 30-day rants. There must be maximum civil pressure on the authorities. Number one, we must reform our electoral process. That is the backbone of corrupt politicians. They know that they can meander their way into the public office without consequences and accountability. So if I'm talking to Nigerian politicians, I'm telling them, your time is up. You either do the right thing for this country, or a generation of young Nigerian leaders will wake up and will succeed where you people have failed woefully and continue to fail us. Because Nigerians are hungry, Nigerians are dying, the tension is palpable and the frustration, and the leaders are completely detached from from the reality. It is unfortunate, but we as Nigerians must find the wisdom and the courage to fix these institutions, or else we continue to remain victims of these institutions.
For the rights that Nigerians need to know, first of all, I think that Nigerians need to know first that we have a right to rant, and that the freedom of speech is guaranteed under our constitution, and
without fear or intimidation.
Without fear or intimidation. As a matter of fact, I keep referring to what happened in the UK in 2021, that two judges, Justice Welby and Lord Justice Bean, they said that they have, the UK doesn't have a written constitution, so they are run by decisions of parliament and court judgment. They said that if your rights, your freedom of speech, is only includes the right to say nice things, then you are not free. The judges said that your freedom of speech includes the right to insult and offend the other person. Because if it is just about saying nice things about you, then I'm not free, as a matter of fact. So, and like the essay was saying to Mr. President, this government has consistently tried to criminalize the right to speak, the freedom of speech in Nigeria. They claim that there's freedom of speech, but consistently they have continued to use the Cybercrime Act to see how they can criminalize our right to speak. I have been a victim. I have been on trial for talking. They have been tried under the Cybercrime Act, and they not long ago the court discharged and acquitted me. So the Nigerians need to know that we have a right to speak, number one. And then this government has, I couldn't have believed that this government will come and criminalize the right to protest. I was the Secretary General of June 12 Coalition, and at a point, the relationship, as a matter of fact, let me say it here, that it is this president that was funding the June 12 Coalition. So we had a relationship, and these are the things that they taught us. We were cadres in the movement. I couldn't have believed that the government led by Tinubu, Idele Alake, Bayo Nanuga, all these names, our comrades, that at some point, we will no longer be allowed to go and carry placards. And this is what they taught us to do. This is what we were going to their houses to collect monies, to come and do placards. They gave us bonfires, they gave us petrol. We were the ones that were hanging out on the streets in the night to burn tires, to make people stay at home. Then suddenly under this government, we don't even have any space to protest again. But Nigerians also need to know, because you asked me about rights, that the right to protest, the right to be out there on the street, the right to rant is our fundamental human right. And let me also add, because most Nigerians in the South are Christians, that I want to wax. I don't go to church, but I feel tempted to go into the Bible and talk about it. That in the book of Kings, when David increased taxes for the people, 11 tribes of Israel went to meet him and said, "These taxes, this burden is too heavy on us." It was a protest. And the king said, "Okay, we will do something about it," just like Nigerian leaders will always tell us. Just go and come back. And that same Bible said, the king Jeroboam consulted with his younger friends who told him that, don't mind them. And when they came back, he said, "My father whipped you with whips. I will whip you with scorpions. I'm not going to listen to you." And that was what led to why the 11 tribes of Israel separated from the other one. And the country became divided. Protest is even biblical. It's not just a constitutional right. It's also a biblical right. You have a right to protest when you are angry. And if your kings do not listen to you, you have a right to overthrow them. So I don't, talking about rights, they know. And then when you talk about the role of international organizations, I should say that organizations like Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, and the rest of them have actually been our allies in this struggle. In recent times, in the past 2 years, a number of activists, a number of journalists, a number of social media commentators have been arrested. There is barely any week that passes in Nigeria today that 1 or 2 persons are not arrested either by the federal government or municipal governments, like the local governments, or state government, somewhere in the country. In fact, as a matter of fact, right now, somebody has been arrested in Bauchi and is going to be charged for talking.
For watching this video, please don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe to get more important updates on Biafra land. Thank you.